Record to cloud, start recording. So good morning, good morning. Happy Tuesday on this snowy Tuesday. Hopefully you don't have to go anywhere today, Diana, or anyone else for that matter. I don't have to go anywhere now, so that's good. I wanted to start off, I was telling my class yesterday, I'll tell you guys really quick. And then I'll share a little mantra with you that I came across this morning. So last week I got the opportunity to on Zoom teach like a really short class. A teacher from the Woodbury City District emailed Experience Yoga and asked if a teacher would come on to share with her pre-K class, like 3-year-old pre-K class, a little bit about yoga because they had been studying exercise and talking about it. And so they were doing some yoga stuff. So I was like, oh, that's really cool. I can join. It happened to be Wednesday morning, and Wednesday for me in my district is remote, so I'm home. Plus, it was early enough that I was able to join in. And so it was really funny, right? There were all these little kids with their parents in the background because, at 3, they're probably not figuring out Zoom, although I guess they probably could because they kids know so much more about technology than we ever did, or even still. But it was just so funny to watch them all kind of doing their own thing. Some of them did it, some of them didn't. 2 of the kids were like really into it, and we just kind of went over a little bit. And so I was explaining to them that the the whole point, right, of yoga is really not all the things that we do, all of the movements and the shapes that we make. It's really kind of just tying everything together. And so I was explaining to them that we move with our breath, and really the most important part is our breathing. Even though that's something we do all day long, yoga gives us the opportunity to kind of really hone in and tune into that, right? So they thought that was really cool. And so they ended up sending me an email yesterday saying thank you. It was just so cute. It was these 2 kids, the 2 kids that were like really into doing everything that I was teaching. They're like seated, legs crossed with their eyes closed, and thumb and index finger together was the picture they sent. It was so cute. And thank you for teaching us a little bit more about yoga. And so I just thought, hey, it's really cool that this teacher took the time out of what she was teaching these 3-year-olds to include yoga, especially at 3. I wish that I had known about yoga when I was 3 years old, or even earlier than I ever did, and how much better prepared I would have been for other things in life, because I think that just recognizing in myself the big change that has occurred since I started practicing and teaching and doing yoga on a more regular basis, um, just how much more we are able to like regulate, right, our emotions and how we're feeling. And so it might not always be very apparent and at the front of your mind that that's what you're doing. But I think the more we can tap into the breathing and kind of giving ourselves those tools to help calm ourselves down, right? 3 years old, 30 years old, 60 years old, doesn't really matter, right? We all benefit from that. So kind of keeping that in mind, right? Not so much regulating your emotions, but the idea that the breath is kind of what leads everything, um, and what brought you to be here in the first place, right? Not specifically today, but maybe today. But even the first time you unrolled your mat, what kind of brought you to yoga, and then why you keep coming back and doing the things that you do. And so the other thing I saw this morning I thought was really cool. I was flipping through an old book of mine, and I came across a mantra. And so I don't often start my classes with a mantra, but I thought it would be cool, especially with what's going on outside. And it says, I am the sky, everything else is the weather, right? So the sky is the big picture, the sky is the constant, everything else is what changes and comes and goes, and we can let it go without holding on to it and feeling like we're being stuck in whatever is occurring. So we're going to do class a little bit like we did last week, where we get a little bit of movement, get a little bit of stillness. So I think it's nice to start with some movement. Sometimes it helps to find a little bit more stillness when we get to that part. So we are going to start standing. So coming up, I promise we won't do this every single week, but it's kind of nice sometimes to just shake things off, let things go, and then noticing how much more you are able to come into stillness once we get out some of the energy, right? So you might kind of shift around a little bit on your mat. Feel free to kind of travel around. You don't have to stand still either. So we're going to start out with circling the wrist. And then taking that movement into the elbows. So the wrist still might move. It might feel awkward to try to do both. So you might let it go. And then up into the shoulders. So again, maybe the wrists are still moving. Maybe the elbows are still bending and unbending. And then let those circles go. Sweep the arms back behind you as far as they'll go, and then take them up overhead. Interlace the fingers, turn the palms up toward the ceiling. Tall spine, breath in. Breath out. Release the arms, swing them back behind you, and then back up overhead. Interlace the fingers, turn the palms up. Pressing up toward the ceiling, taking the shoulders up as high as they'll go, taking the shoulders back as far as they'll go. And then release that, sweep them back behind you, up overhead one more time. Interlace the fingers, turn the palms up, hinge over to one side. And then up and over the other way. And then coming back tall, releasing the arms, sweep them back behind you, interlace the fingers behind the back, roll the shoulders back, lifting the heart up. Poor Carol's having issues today with her internet, I think. Deep breath in, full breath out. Release the arms up, sweep them up tall. And then exhale, open out to the right, sweeping the arms straight out from the shoulders like a T, and then let them drop down toward your torso. Back to a T, and then back up overhead, face the center. Inhale, exhale, twist to the left, stretching the arms out to a T, and then dropping them down toward the torso. Inhale, sending them to the T, pause there, and then take them up, unwind, face center. Release the hands down by your side. Let whatever you need to go. Shaking out the shoulders. And then taking our movement down into the legs. Carol, if this does not work for you at any point with the internet, feel free to message and we will send you the recording, because I am recording the class. I hope that you're able to stay on. So whichever leg you want to start with, circle out that ankle. Switch direction. Take that movement into the knee, whether you're moving it side to side or front to back, or maybe a little bit of both. And then we're going to take that movement into the hip. So hip rotations as big as you can get them to go. Lift it up, cross it over, lift it up, circle it around and back behind. Lift it up, bring it in front, cross it over, lift it up, circle it around and behind. One more time each way. Lifting up and over, lifting up, circling around to the back. Take your feet out as wide as your mat. Taking a little bit of movement side to side into the hips. Inhale, send the arms up. Exhale, right hand, right hip, hinge over to the right with the left arm. Inhale up through the center. Exhale, left hand, left hip, reaching over to the left. And then inhale back up through the center, both arms reaching up overhead. Exhale, hands behind the back. Interlace the fingers, shoulders roll back. Deep bend into the knees as you fold all the way forward. Let the torso meet the thighs. Let the crown of the head drop toward the mat. Keep that deep bend into the knees. Breathing in. Breathing out. Release the hands to the floor. Straighten out the legs, halfway lift. My feet are still as wide as my mat. And then exhale, fold, bend into the knees. Come all the way back up. Sweep the arms overhead. And then bring them back down by your side. Shorten your stance so you can shift your balance into the other leg. And then same thing, circle out the ankle. Switch direction. Take it up to the knee, whichever works better, side to side, front to back. Maybe you're making circles. Right, and then rotation into the hip. So take it up first and cross it over, almost like eagle pose, right? Take it up and then circle it around and back. Up, over, in front, up, around, and back. One more time, up, over, in front, up, around, and back. Letting that go, finding that wider stance again, feet as wide as your mat. Inhale, circle the arms up overhead. Interlace the fingers, turn the palms up toward the ceiling, hinge over to one side. And then up and over the other way. And then back up toward the ceiling, release the hands behind the back, interlace the fingers, shoulders roll back. Fold all the way forward, deep bend into the knees on the way down. Torso meets the thighs, and then the crown of the head starts to drop down toward the mat. Still keeping that bend into the knees. Releasing the hands down to the mat, straighten out both legs, halfway lift, long spine, inhale. And then exhale, fold, bending back into both knees. Let the left hand plant down to the mat, send the right arm up to the ceiling, start to straighten out the right leg. Bend back into both knees, right hand comes down to the mat. Start to take the left arm up, straighten out the left leg. Bending back into that left knee, both hands meet the mat. Step back, lower down to the knees, tabletop pose, wrists under shoulders. Inhale, drop the belly down, cow. Exhale, round the spine up, cat. Inhale, drop the belly down, cow. Exhale, round the spine up, cat. And then take it to child's pose, whether you're taking the knees wide or keeping them closer together, whatever might be the most comfortable for you right now and this morning. We're taking that time to notice the stillness, to settle in, tune back into your breath. And taking that moment to set your intention for the rest of our practice. Deep breath in, full breath out. Inhaling, start to make your child's pose a little bit more active. Start to lift the forehead away from the floor. Start to puff up between the shoulder blades, right? Lifting that heart center up toward the ceiling. And then let yourself sink back down in between the shoulder blades, maybe coming all the way back down to the mat with the forehead. And then lifting the forehead up, pressing into the hands, shoulders lifting up toward the ceiling. And then letting yourself sink back down in between the shoulder blades. One more time, puffing up. This time we're going to stay here and lift up onto the knees, rock our hips all the way forward, adjusting on the way, kneeling plank. Pressing into the hands, let the shoulders come past the wrist, draw the belly in, big breath in. Full breath out. Inhale, lower on the exhale, all the way to the floor, and then find a cobra, breath in. Exhale, let it go. Inhale, lift up, cobra. Exhale, let it go. Tuck the toes, lift up to downward facing dog. Deep breath in. Full breath out. Back to some movement. Inhale, lift high on the toes. Exhale, press back through the heels. Inhale, lifting high. Exhale, pressing back. Inhale, lift high, rock forward, high plank, top of a push-up. Exhale, downward facing dog. Deep breath in, lift high. Breath out, press back. Lift high, rock forward to your high plank. Finish your breath. Exhale, downward facing dog. Lifting high, inhale. Pressing back, exhale. Lift high, rock forward. Your full inhale takes you there. And then your full exhale takes you to downward facing dog. Send the right leg high, bend the knee, open up the hip. Square the hip, step the right foot forward. Send the right arm out, twist. And then right hand to the mat, step it forward, top of the mat, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, tall sweep all the way up. Exhale, mountain pose, right? Setting here, inhale. Exhale, sweep the arms up. Inhale, fold all the way forward. Exhale, halfway lift, long spine. Exhale, fold, hands, plant, step back, high plank, and then drop right to the knees, kneeling plank. Lower to the mat, hugging the elbows in toward the rib cage, all the way down. Untuck the toes, lift up, cobra. Exhale, lower. Lifting cobra, squeezing the elbows in. Exhale, lower. Tuck the toes, lift the hips, down dog. Deep breath in. And out. Send the left leg high, bend the knee, open the hip. Squaring the hip, step forward. Left arm up, twist. Left hand down, right foot forward, top of the mat, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, tall. Exhale, mountain. And then inhale, tall again. Exhale, bow forward. Flat back, halfway. Exhale, fold, hands plant, step it back, lower the knees, lower the chest, elbows hugging in, take your time to get there. Untuck the toes, lift up, cobra. And lower. Lifting up, cobra. And lower. One more time. This time we're going to lift everything, right? So lift the legs, lift the hands to hover just above your mat. And lower it down. Sink it back to child's pose just for a breath. And then downward facing dog. Full breath in. Full breath out. Lift high on the toes. Press back through the heels. Inhale, rock forward, high plank. Exhale, downward facing dog. Lift high and press back. Lift high, rock forward, high plank. This time pause here for 3, 2, 1. Downward facing dog. Deep breath in. Full breath out. Inhale, rock forward, high plank. Stay here. 4, 3, 2, 1. Downward facing dog. Deep breath in. Full breath out. Al knows what's coming, right? Inhale, rock forward, high plank, top of a push-up, hold it here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stay here, mountain climbers, right knee, left knee, right knee, left knee, right, left, down, dog. Deep breath in. Full breath out. Hopefully you're getting warm now. Inhale, rock forward, high plank, top of a push-up. Last one here. 6, 5, 4. Pressing the mat away. 2, 1. 6 more mountain climbers. Right knee, left knee, right knee, left knee, right knee, left knee. Lower all the way down to the mat. Inhale, cobra. Exhale, lower. Lifting just the legs, inhale. And exhale, lower. Everything lifts up, float the palms. And lower it down. Sink the hips to the heels, child's pose. Pausing here. Noticing your breath. Noticing your heart rate. Starting to breathe a little more deeply and fully to bring that back down. Deep breath in. And full breath out. Pulling it up into tabletop pose. Wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. Inhale, drop the belly down. Let yourself sink a little between the shoulder blades. Exhale, round the spine up, press the mat away. Inhale, drop it down. And then exhale, round it up. Tuck the toes, lift the hips, down dog. Deep breath in, lift high. Breath out, press back. Lift high, look forward, feet to your hands. halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, tall, stretch it up. Exhale, mountain pose. Shoulders up, inhale, and shoulders back. Exhale. Inhale, arms rise tall. Exhale, fold all the way forward. Halfway lift. Fold, hands plant, step back, flow through to down dog. Right, taking any flow that works for you that would feel best, or skipping. Settling in, big breath in, and full breath out. Inhale, send the right leg high. And then exhale, step the right foot forward. Left knee drops to the mat, both arms rise, low lunge. Both hands to the mat, hips move back, straighten out the front leg as much as you can. And then back into the right foot, lift off the left knee, lift the hips super high, and then drop the hips back down toward the mat, right? So I'm staying off my back knee, but I'm finding some movement into the hips. Inhale, lift super high. Exhale, sink the hips down toward the mat. Inhale, lift super high, let yourself shift back a little bit and straighten out the right leg, lifting up onto the heel of that right foot. Right foot plants back down onto the mat. Take a walk around to the left side of your mat. Bring your toes with you. Bend into the left knee. Straighten out the right leg. So staying super high, not quite all the way to the mat like Skandasana, more like a side lunge. Adding a twist, right hand stays down, left arm goes up, hip shifting toward the back of your mat. And then bring the left hand down, walk back around to the top edge of the mat, framing out the right foot, step it back high, plank, stay here for 4, 3, 2, 1, downward facing dog, deep breath in, full breath out, send the left leg high, step the left foot forward, right knee to the mat, both arms up, low lunge, finding that stretch, settling in. And then let the hands come down to the mat, shifting back, straightening out the left leg as much as you can. Big breath in. And then on your breath out, moving back into that left foot. Lift off of the right knee. And then moving the hips higher, right? Drawing the belly in, straightening. Well, my left leg is not straight, but straightening it out a little bit more so I can lift a little bit higher and then bend back into that left knee, drop the hips down toward the floor. Inhale, lift the hips high. And then exhale, drop the hips low. Last one, lifting high. This time I'm going to shift back a little bit and pick my front toes up off of the mat so I'm on my left heel. Super wide leg, pyramid-like pose, breathing in. And breathing out, let the left toes come back down to the mat. Take a walk around to the right side of your mat, bringing your left foot with you. Bend into the right knee, straighten out the left leg. Left hand meets the floor or a block. Right arm goes up, hip shifting toward the back of your mat. And then right hand comes down, walk back around to the top edge of the mat, framing out your left foot, step it back, high plank, stay here, 4, 3, 2, 1, downward facing dog, deep breath in. Full breath out, lift high on the toes, look forward, feet to hands, halfway lift, forward fold, inhale tall, exhale mountain, pausing here, maybe closing the eyes, coming into that brief moment of stillness. Allowing the breath to settle you back down. One more full breath in. And then fully empty it out. Blinking open the eyes. If they're closed, inhale, sweep it up tall. Exhale, bow all the way down. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold hands, plant, step it back, flow it through, or come right to down dog. And then taking a big breath in and a full breath out. Send the right leg high, bend the knee, open the hip. Square the hip, step the right foot up in between or outside of the right hand, sorry. Lizard lunge. So finding that same dropping the hips down as much as you can. And then we're gonna lift the hips high and then dropping the hips down. Inhale, lift the hips high. Let your weight transfer into that right foot. The left foot's gonna step up to do the same thing, finding Balasana at the top of the mat. Dropping the hips down, lifting the chest high, breathing in and breathing out. Maybe you take a little bit of movement here. And then letting the hands come to the mat, lifting up into a fold, straightening out the legs as fast as you can. And then start to bend back into the knees, right? So hips still stay super high, kind of like we did in the beginning of class. We're gonna step the right foot back and find our lizard lunge on the other side. So weight into the left foot, right foot steps all the way back. Find that lizard, lift the left foot forward. Adjust wherever you need to. And then inhale, hips high. Exhale, hips low. Inhale, hips high. Exhale, hips low. Inhale, hips high, plant into the hand, step the left foot back, high plank, flow through to down dog. Deep breath in and out. Lower the knees down to the mat, lining them up under the hips, walking the hands in if they're further out from under the shoulders. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat round. Inhale for cow. Exhale, cat round. And then staying here, neutral spine. Sending the right leg back, right in line with the hip, right? So it's not that back bend. Be super mindful of where that leg is hanging out. Flex through the heel. It's right in line with our torso and our hips. Breathing in, breathing out. So I'm gonna shift so you can see me a little bit because we're gonna kick this right leg out to the side, toes face forward, and then send that right leg back behind you, toes face down. Draw the knee toward the nose, round the spine, point the toe. Send it long, flexing through the heel, right in line with the hips, and then kick it out to the right, toes facing forward, and then kick it back behind you, toes face down. Point the toes round the spine, knee toward the nose. Send it long, flex through the heel. Lower the left forearm down to the mat so the elbow is lined up right under your left shoulder. You can take some weight out of that right hand if that wrist needs a break. We're gonna kick this right leg out to the side, toes face forward, and then back behind, out to the side and back behind, out to the side, keep it there, and then lower it to the mat. Send the right arm up to the ceiling. And then take the right hand back down to the mat. My weight is still in my left forearm. My elbow is still trying to stay under my left shoulder. Engage back through that right leg, lift it up off of the mat, and then send it back behind you. Come back up onto the left hand. So I'm back in this half spinal balance. My leg is still long behind me, right leg. Pulse it up, 3, 2, 1. Not a back bend, move it from the glute, and then point the toe around the spine, knee toward the nose. And then guess where we're going? We did this last week. Send it long behind you. Tuck the left toes under so that we can lift the left knee as we move next. Bring the right knee forward, lift the left knee up, hip super high. Lower the left knee down, extend the right leg long. Breathe here, in, out, right knee toward the nose, left knee lifts up, leg super high. Step the right foot up in between the hands, and then walk your right hand or both hands forward, lift the left leg up off of the mat. Standing split to keep that left leg super active, toes facing down, flexing through the heel, so you might not be able to go up as high. Breathe here, in and out. Start to bend into the right knee, walk your hands back toward your right foot, lower the left foot to the floor. Lift the hips super high. Try to peel that right foot up off of the mat. Lower the left knee, extend the right leg, and then back to tabletop pose. Take some movement, whatever it might be, in the hips, in the wrists, in the shoulders. After teaching this last night and today, whew, my shoulders are yelling at me. Breathing in, breathing out. And then before we do the other side, inhale the right arm up, and then exhale, thread it under. Finding that little bit of a pause again. And then planting your left hand if it went somewhere else. Inhaling, your right arm goes back up, open up as much as you can, and then exhale, right hand down to the mat, table top pose, other side. So starting with extending that left leg back, flexing through the heel, trying to find that long spine all the way down through the heel, right? So no back bend, draw the belly in, breathe in, and breathe out. Inhale. Exhale, adding that movement, sweeping that left leg out to the side, toes face forward, and then take it back behind you, toes face down. Point the toe, draw the knee toward the nose, and then send the leg long, flexing through the heel, take it out to the left, toes forward, take it back behind, toes down, knee toward the nose, round the spine, send it long, flex through the heel, lower the right forearm, elbow right under the shoulder, adjusting that left hand to wherever you need it to go. And then we'll take it out to the side, back behind, out to the side, back behind, out to the side, hold it there, lower it to the mat, send the left arm up. And then bringing the left hand back down, rooting or extending actively through that left leg, still on the elbow, lift it up, and then send it back behind. Lift up onto the right hand. So I'm back in this half spinal balance, knee toward the nose, point the toes, send it long, tuck the right toes, right? So the next part is a little bit easier. Left knee toward the nose, right knee lifts away from the mat, hips super high. Right knee to the mat, left leg long flex through the heel. Left knee toward the nose, right knee lifts up, hips super high. Step the left foot in between the hands and then walk a little bit forward, lifting the right leg, standing split, but super active through the glutes, toes turned down, hips in line with each other. Start to bend into the left knee and walk the hands back. Let the right foot touch down to the floor. We're in this runner's lunge, right? And then hips come up super high. Draw the belly in. See if you can lift that left foot up toward the chest. Lower the right knee. Extend the left leg. And then tabletop pose, whatever movement you need to take. And then we'll take our thread the needle this side. Left arm goes up, inhale, and left arm threads under. Big breath in and breath out. Last one, breathing in and emptying out. Bringing that right hand back in if it went somewhere else. Inhaling, left arm up to the ceiling. Left hand down to the mat. Tuck the toes, lift it up, downward facing dog. Deep breath in and breath out. Send the left leg high. And then step the left foot outside of the left hand, finding this lizard lunge again. Lifting the hips high, dropping the hips down. Inhale, lifting the hips high, right foot steps outside of the right hand, both hips sink down, Malasana. And then let the hands meet the mat, lift the hips high, straightening out the leg. And then find a halfway lift long through the spine. And exhale, fold it forward, bringing the feet closer together, rolling all the way up to your mountain pose. Head coming up last. Taking a breath here. We're grabbing a sip before we do the last little bit of crazy effort before we wind down. So I alluded to this on Friday, lizard push-ups. All the push-ups we're getting in over the past couple of days, if you took yod. Burpees, push-ups, mountain climbers, all the things makes us a little bit stronger, right? That's what you tell yourself. So finding your mountain pose, taking a breath in, shoulders to the ears, and taking a breath out, shoulders back and down. Inhale, sweep the arms up, and then exhale, fold all the way forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold, hands plant, step it back, flow through, or just come right to down dog. From here, take a big breath in and a full breath out. Send the right leg high to the ceiling. Step the right foot outside of the right hand. And then dropping the hips down and bending into the elbows as best as you can. So think a push-up. You might not go very low. That's okay. Press straight back up. Super high, lift the hips high, and then drop the hips down, start to bend into the elbows like you're taking a push-up, and then pressing straight back up, lifting the hips super high. One more time, sink the hips down, bend into the elbows, and then pressing straight back up, hips super high. Lower the left knee, right hand to the right knee, twist. And then right hand back to the mat. So taking a little detour before we move to the other side. Drop down to that right hip. We're not finding pigeon, we're finding our closed 90-90. So our left shin is gonna come in a little bit closer. So I have this, not the 90-degree version, right? Top or bottom of my right foot, somewhere resting on the top of my left thigh. Adjust that back foot wherever you need to be a little bit more comfortable. You can also prop yourself up on a block here. Breathing in, breathing out. Left hand down, stretch the right arm up and over. Inhale up through the center, exhale, hinge over the other way. And then inhale up through the center, both arms up to the sky. Exhale, twist to the left, letting the hands come down wherever is comfortable. Unwinding from that twist. We're going to bring our left foot around to cross over the right leg, setting up for our seated twist. And you know that you can always extend the right leg long if that feels better. Left hand behind, right in line with the spine. Inhale, send that right arm up. And then exhale, find that deeper twist back to the left. Unwinding from that all the way. Uncross the legs, bring the soles of the feet together, tall spine, bound angle, breathing in, breathing out. Inhale. And exhale, bring the feet back to the mat. Find your tall spine on the sits bones, boat pose, lifting the feet up. Maybe you're holding the backs of the thighs. Even if you're doing that, arms are still super active. Create a little bit more space between your thighs and your torso. So I was doing this last night. That's how I cheat, is to come a little bit closer. So finding instead more length through the spine, torso further away from the thighs. Breathing in, breathing out. Inhale, lower the heels down. And then we're coming right back into it, boat pose, lift the feet up. Breathing in, breathing out, right? Any variation, breathing in, breathing out. Inhale, lower the feet down, hug the knees into the chest. And then rounding a little bit through the spine. And then crossing at the ankles, or somehow, some way getting back to downward facing dog. Deep breath in and full breath out. Send the left leg high to the ceiling. Step the left foot outside of the left hand, right? Adjusting where you need to. It might need to go out further. You might have to roll onto the outside edge of the foot in order to be able to get just a little bit more into that hip to lower into these push-ups, right? So start to drop the hips down, bend into the elbows, elbows moving straight back. And then pressing back up into the hands, lift the hips super high. Sink the hips down toward the mat, bend into the elbows, they move straight back. And then press straight back up, lift the hips super high. One more time, hips sink down, elbows start to bend. And then pressing straight back up, lift the hips super high, drop the right knee, left hand to the left knee, twist. And then coming out of that twist, and we'll transition into that seated 90-90, right? So the front shin comes down like you're coming into pigeon, but then the back leg comes in much closer. Adjusting that seat to be the most comfortable that you can be in it. Breathing in. And breathing out, right hand down, left arm goes up and over. And then left hand comes down, right arm goes up and over. Both arms come up overhead, inhale, and then twist to your right. Start to let go of that twist, unwinding, bringing the right leg around to cross over the left, setting up for that deeper seated twist. So right hand right behind in line with the spine, send the left arm up, get tall, deeper twist to the right again. And then coming out of your twist, unwinding the legs, soles of the feet together, knees open back into this bound angle, breathing in, breathing out. Inhale. And letting something soften, letting it go. Exhale. Bringing the feet back to the mat. Setting up for our boat pose again, right? So finding that tall spine, maybe holding onto the knees to lift the heart forward, right? Think about where you might normally round a little bit, because I totally do. Start to back away from your thighs and then lift the legs. Super energetic through the feet and the arms, even if you're holding the backs of the thighs. Breathing in, breathing out. Inhale. Exhale, let the heels touch down so you're backing out of it just for a moment, and then we're going right back into it, boat pose. Maybe your legs are starting to shake a little bit. Mine are. Breathe. One more breath in, and then let the feet come down. Breath out. Hug the knees in toward the chest. And then find that little bit of a cat round. And then rolling all the way down onto your back. Keeping the knees hugged in, maybe rocking a little bit side to side. Finding a moment of stillness. And then let the feet meet the mat. So setting up for a bridge. Feet in line with sits bones, almost touching the ankles with the fingertips. On an inhale, lifting up. Maybe rolling the shoulders underneath, getting that little bit of a rinse out. One more breath. And then slowly lower back down to the mat. Take your feet wide, knees together. And then feet back in line with sits bones. Last bridge pose, last little bit of effort. If you've had enough though and want to take a more restorative version or just a regular bridge, right? Because we're going to add on some leg stuff. Feel free to make it what you need it to be. On an inhale, lifting the hips up toward the ceiling. Pressing down through the feet, turning the glutes on, right? You can stay here. You can take the restorative with the block, or right knee comes in toward the chest. Keep pressing down through that left foot to keep the hips high. Send the right foot up toward the ceiling, flex through the heel. Lower the right leg in line with the left. So thigh with thigh, take it straight up to the ceiling. Lower down, lift up, lower that right leg and lift it back up. Right knee toward the chest. Keep rooting down through that left foot, hips high, left glute working. Right foot to the mat. Stay here, breathing in. Breathing out, same thing, left side, left knee to the chest. Press through the right foot to lift the hips up. Extend the left leg toward the ceiling, flexing through the foot. Lower to in line with the right. Lift back up. Lower the left leg and lift up. Last time, lower. Lift left knee toward the chest. Press back into that right foot, lifting the hips high. Left foot meets the right. And then lower all the way down to the mat. Recline bound angle, soles of the feet together, knees open, eyes closed. And staying right here, moving into happy baby pose. To keep some stillness, do your happy baby to start. And then maybe you stay with it, or maybe you like that rocking from side to side. We're straightening out the legs a little bit. Wherever you happen to be, bringing the knees together and then finding your way into an inversion. Right, more restorative inversions. You can let the eyes stay closed. And taking one more breath here. And slowly start to lower your feet back down to the mat, stretching out just for a moment. Legs long, arms overhead, maybe grab opposite elbows. And then bring the knees back in toward the chest. Hands meet them, hug them in. And then arms to a T, knees drop all the way to the left. And bringing the legs up through the center, all the way over to the right. And then bringing everything back to the center, giving yourself one last big squeeze in, knees to chest, forehead to knees. And then settling in for your Shavasana, final rest. Start to bring awareness back to your breath. Making small movements with fingers and toes, wrists and ankles. And taking one more big stretch out like you just woke up. And then one more big hug in, rolling all the way over to one side. And then slowly pressing yourself up to a comfortable seat. Letting the eyes stay closed. Inhaling the shoulders up. Exhale, roll them back. Inhaling, shoulders up. And exhaling, shoulders back. Bringing the hands in front of our heart, coming back to our intention. And taking one more breath together in through the nose. Empty it out. The light in me honors, acknowledges, and sees the light in you. Thank you so much for spending part of this Tuesday snowy morning with me. Together, we'll seal class with a bow and namaste. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you, Brandy.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a
You're
good day.
welcome.